Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is a superhero who stands for a lot of strong ideologies, and arguably represents the best of his country, looking out for the greater good and the innocent in peril. He's always been firm in his ways, and being a natural-born leader has led him to encounter and work with a plethora of various other heroes over the years, some of which he holds a lot of respect for. So today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 superheroes Captain America respects. We'll be discussing Cap's relationship with heroes in both the MCU and in the comics. So with that in mind, let's get to it. And at number 10, Iron Man. Captain America and Tony Stark have a complicated history to say the least. Now for starters, just take a look at Civil War. The argument between these two and their opposing ideologies turned superhero against superhero, and led to a bunch of consequences that shook up the Marvel Universe for quite some time. And while the MCU adapts Civil War slightly differently, it still has a dire impact on the characters of that reality. But then there is the flip side of that. When Steve and Tony are in each other's good graces, they're really good. They make a solid team. Hell, they were both members of the first iteration of Avengers in the comics, and now technically the MCU as well. And despite their past feuds, these two have an appreciation and respect for one another when it comes to the quality of hero they both are, and what they are willing to sacrifice for the greater good. And at number 9, Human Torch, the android. Speaking of original iterations, this number doesn't pertain to Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, but rather the initial Human Torch, the android who first debuted in Timely Comics before they became Marvel back in 1939. Back in the day, the Human Torch along with Namor would appear in crossovers, and would join up with Cap and a young Bucky Barnes in the All-Winner Squad, the Golden Age superhero team who first came together in 1946. Human Torch also fought alongside Cap during World War II, as seen in flashbacks from the Invaders series, in which they kicked some serious Nazi butt together. Nothing brings people together like killing Nazis. The Human Torch was also recruited to be a part of Rogers' Secret Avengers team, and works for S.H.I.E.L.D. And at number 8, Namor the Submariner. Namor is yet another character who has proven to piss off Cap in the past. But to be fair, Namor has always been antagonistic. He is technically the first anti-hero to have appeared in a comic book. But we can't mention the original Human Torch and not note that Namor was part of those two OG superhero teams as well, working alongside the android and Cap as part of the Invaders and the All-Winner Squad. But more recently, Namor really came through for Cap during Civil War, coming to the patriotic hero's aid with the forces of Atlantis during the final major conflict of that story event. Moving on to number 7, Wolverine. Captain America and Wolverine have clashed many a time. They've had some pretty iconic fights over the years, even one that took place back in World War II, despite having also worked together at that time with Logan being a part of the Canadian forces. Regardless of how much they've both made each other bleed and bruise, they do share a mutual understanding of one another, and a respect. During the Avengers vs. X-Men story event, Wolverine doesn't turn on the Avengers, and instead is more focused on continuing to build his trust with Cap. They've even developed a friendship in the process. Plus they had a crossover comic together back in 2004. Now that's a team up. And at 6, Bucky Barnes. While Bucky has had a complicated past as the Winter Soldier, one thing is undeniable: his connection with Steve Rogers. Whether you're a hardcore Stucky shipper or you just find their friendship tugging on your heartstrings, the relationship Cap has with his best pal is one of the most endearing in the Marvel Universe. Bucky would even go on to take Steve's place as Captain America, and also hooked up with Steve's pal and pure Black Widow in the process. And at 5, Spider-Man. In the comics, Peter Parker has often looked up to Steve Rogers as a mentor of sorts. The two of them worked together on the Avengers. Cap actually vouched for Peter to join the team. There were some reservations about it from other members, but Steve felt that the young web-slinger was up to the job of joining the penultimate team of Earth's mightiest heroes. And in addition to that, in the Civil War story event, Peter actually sides with Tony Stark initially before coming around and seeing Cap's side of things, ultimately joining him and his anti-registration forces. With both heroes hailing from New York City, Steve can't help but respect the service that Peter has done for their home, and the personal sacrifices he's made in order to protect the innocent. And at number 4, Black Widow. While Cap and Natasha have made for strong allies in the comics in the past, their relationship in the MCU is the focus of this number. We really got to see the relationship between these two flourish in Captain America Winter Soldier. Despite bumping heads concerning the additional instructions Natasha was given on missions that Steve felt would compromise their main goals, after Fury is taken out, the two become inseparable, relying on each other wholly, ultimately creating a bond that would carry on throughout the rest of the MCU appearances. Steve knows Natasha has got his back no matter what, something that was most prominent during Captain America's Civil War, in which Black Widow let Steve and Bucky get away at the end of the battle at the airport because she knew Steve was only trying to do the right thing. She ended up paying the price for that too, having to go go on the run with Cap after the events of the film thanks to the government marking them as criminals. But that's what best friends do. And at number 3, Black Panther. Black Panther and Captain America have typically had a solid relationship in the comics together. During the Civil War story event, T'Challa would side with Cap and his anti-registration forces. In the alternate universe of Earth X, Cap entrusts T'Challa with the Cosmic Cube, knowing that he can resist it and that if need be, he would give it back to Cap without a fight. In the MCU, Cap's respect for his Wakandan peer is utmost. After the events of Civil War, Cap was seen as an outlaw, a criminal in the eyes of the government, and Wakanda was a safe refuge of sorts, a place where Cap could bring Bucky, where the scientific resources of T'Challa's advanced society could properly heal his best friend. T'Challa has always pulled through for Steve, and despite having a wee bit of a kerfuffle at the start of Civil War, Cap has seen that T'Challa is an honorable man who genuinely just wants to be just, something that Cap respects tenfold. And at 2, Nick Fury. Fury, in both the comics and the MCU, has always been a figurehead that Cap respects. Back in the comics, Nick Fury fought during World War II, and Cap even worked alongside him and his Howling Commandos. While Cap at times might not fully agree with the way that Fury does things, being a leader himself, he understands why Fury does what he does, and therefore respects him. The two have helped each other out big time in the past as well. Like when Fury allowed Cap to use the off-the-books SHIELD safe houses during the Civil War event in the comics, something Fury only did because of the amount of trust he has in Steve. And finally, and at number 1, Falcon. While Fury is a hard one to top, Cap's relationship with superhero Falcon, aka Sam Wilson, is one that was built upon respect. When Wilson first debuted in Captain America issue 117 in 1969, the character had been tricked by former Nazis called the Exiles who worked with Red Skull. While he escaped their captivity, he stayed on the island they were located on in order to help the villagers there organize and take on the sinister team. Steve would encourage Sam, training him and inspiring him when he took on the mantle of Falcon. He would go on to work with Steve throughout the 70s and even got front billing on the Captain America comics twice, the first being between issues 134 and 192, and the second between 194 and 222. This happened between 1971 and 1978. Now he's been a part of the Avengers team on multiple occasions, and has even taken on the mantle of Captain America over the years, being Steve's successor. And let's not forget the MCU. Spoiler alert friends, turn away now if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame. Last chance to do this. 3, 2, 1. Steve chose Sam to be his successor, giving him his shield at the end of Endgame. That doesn't scream respect? I don't know what does. Alright, there we have it friends. What other heroes can you think of that Captain America respects? We missed quite a few on our list, including many an Avenger member, since, you know, we can only do 10 numbers. So give us a shout in those comments below and let us know if you'd like to see a part 2. Or perhaps the flip side of this, heroes that annoy Cap. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this one. We've even got a nifty little playlist currently flashing on your screen that has a ton of videos that you might want to check out. So give it a click. In the meantime though, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.